My name is Githaiga. I am a financial coach. I am also a speaker and I am an author. Actually, I have authored 2 books so far. The 4 M's of Money, The Secret Code That Every Employee Needs to Know, and The Unbeatable Spirit. Before I became a financial coach, I was a country director, working in an international development organization. And while I was working in the international development organization, I did what everybody else does. I made mistakes, like many people make mistakes, even though somebody is a CEO, because then I was CEO level, even whether people are working in high leadership positions, people make mistakes. And I found myself making, I call it the valley of financial mistakes. When I celebrated my 47th birthday, that's when it occurred to me that actually I was broke and I was broken. And it was out of that realization that I started, I began the journey of reorganizing my money in a different way, and also decided to also, go out and help people, especially women who work in leadership positions, who are working in mid-level positions, working in senior positions, to just help them understand that actually, if you are in employment, it is important that you begin to organize your money, because employment is not forever. It doesn't last forever. There will come a time when you will not be employed, and you need to be able to say, how am I organizing my money? How am I planning my money? How am I taking charge of my financial future? So that's who I am. First of all, because I was in debt, I needed to work out a way of how I am going to, clear my debt and all that. But then I said, even as I clear this debt, is it possible for me to start doing some, doing some investment, doing some savings? Because I had zero, as in zero. If you know what zero looks like, I had zero. So I started looking out for information. And so I went to Google. Dr. Google has this thing of telling you. So I went to Google, and SIB came up, Standard Investment Bank came up, and there was this fund about Mansa-X. So I just decided, okay, this looks like something that I can find out more information, because it is something that was familiar, in the sense that because I had been doing trading, I knew that I could ask relevant questions. So when I came across Mansa-X, I actually just wrote on their website, and they linked me to a relationship manager, who I then called, and we had an appointment, we met. I asked her a lot of questions from governance. I wanted to know, who are the owners, what is the governance of this place, what are the risk mechanisms. And I discovered that SIB has been there for about 25 years. They have done lots of things. What really ticked my confidence completely was the fact that Mansa-X is regulated by the Capital Markets Authority. That for me was like, yes, I have found a fund. The things that I had put in money there, in my previous years, they were not regulated, and no wonder everything collapsed. I started off with the least amount. The least amount for Mansa-X is 250,000. I started with that, and of course I kept then developing the confidence and growing, and seeing that, okay, I have now I am confident that Mansa-X is what I would like to work with. I'm on my 4th year since I started, working and investing with Mansa-X. It's been a wonderful, wonderful experience. One of the things that they tick, number one is really the fact that they have very good customer relations. Excellent. I have my relationship manager is one who I can call even at 11 o'clock in the night, and they will respond. We will discuss. There's a lot of information sharing, quarterly information sharing that happens, not just on how your fund is doing, but also the information about the, how generally the investment has been, how they are handling everything. When it comes to the withdrawal, it's also very easy. You just, it's not difficult. You do not have stories. You're not going to be taken in, corners and story mingi of, wait until I don't know, God knows when. You are able to actually, get your your money within the stipulated time. They give you the stipulated time when you're going to get the money. In 2 to 3 working days, you definitely would be able to have your money. And so that has been my experience. They share the statements, their quarterly statements. They're able to show you how your fund is doing. My experience is that when if you look at even the inflation, Last year, I think we had the highest, last year we had the highest inflation of the year before. I mean, where you were even having inflations of about 9% and going. But I think the fund has been very consistent to give around 18%, 17%, thereabout, over the years, which is way above the inflation, and I think that's a stable return. I have confidence that Mansa-X is a good fund, and I have been there, and I desire to continue, being there to continue see, my investment grow. I have majorly two goals. One of them is the long-term passive income, but also short-term or medium-term, passive income, so that in the event that maybe I am not necessarily, earning money, because then my business is still new. I am a startup, and with startups, the cash flow may not be that high. But as I develop the business, then I'm able to still, manage my own cost. I'm able to still meet my own bills, but also the long-term passive income. So my biggest reason for Mansa-X is really just for passive income. That's my biggest reason for being in Mansa-X. Absolutely. For anybody who has a reasonable income, Mansa-X is a good place to go. I've even recommended very many of my friends, very many of my former colleagues. So I recommend quite a bit. I would recommend, if you have some disposable income and you are working to develop and plan for your future, it's good to consider Mansa-X. And I say that with a lot of confidence because I have been there. Even when you hear, certain things that, like SIB is doing, like now they just got the authorization to manage, I think, a pension fund or something. I think that is a mark of confidence for SIB in general. So, and when you also hear that they even have a Sharia compliant, they have a Mansa-X Sharia compliant, that tells you that it's a very dynamic company. So yes, I would recommend Mansa-X to anyone who is willing to sort of begin to take charge of their financial future.